decided to speak about women's autonomy over our bodies and over our health in occasion with the women's in occasion with the International Day of Action for Women's Health. So it's the 28th of May. So it's a special day for everyone. So you guys have to like do something on your social media to celebrate today. Okay, so as shared as well, tonight's discussion will be based on a piece of document that was issued by a network of women's rights NGOs to create awareness about the day that we're celebrating today. So let me know if you see it or if you don't. You see it?
Yes, nampak.
Okay, so I would truly appreciate it for tonight because normally when I do all of these like reading sessions, I would always encourage people to interject and to just contribute ideas, questions, or you have any um, you don't agree with such opinions, feel free to just unmute yourself so that we can have a genuine and raw conversation together in this safe reading space that we have tonight. But I'll be basing my sharing today based on this document. So yeah, but before we go into that, right, I just wanted to get to know everyone's like where we stand. So you can just raise your hand virtually whether are you to answer my because I'm going to ask a few questions. So to answer my questions, feel free to just raise your hands virtually just to see, kalau you guys raise your hands, maksudnya it's a yes. If you tak raise, it's a no. Okay. In your lifetime, in your lifetime, whether you're 25 years old, whether you're 19, have you ever or have you ever encountered any discrimination when it comes to being a girl? Like, I'm just going to make it as general as that. Have you ever felt any discrimination by anyone or by any system about being a girl, about being a woman, or being someone who identifies as a woman? So feel free to raise your hand virtually if you have faced an extent of discrimination. Okay. Discrimination contohnya okay, so you minta I tanya pasal discrimination. Apa maksud discrimination kan? Oh, ya alah, kenapa tak ada raise hand? Oh, sebab ini
Dekat phone pun tak ada.
Oh, I think this is the not premium punya link that we did. Okay, tak apa. Kalau macam tu kena cakap yes or no. But basically, Iza, your question like what's discrimination? So generally, right, everyone here is given and is entitled to the same amount of rights, and you are expected to be treated equally before the law. Everyone on planet Earth harus diberi hak yang sama rata. Setiap manusia patut diberi perlindungan yang sama rata, tiada double standard. So when someone faces discrimination, there is a change of that variable which shouldn't change. Sebab patutnya dari awal semua orang we start on the same plane, kita semua kat satu peringkat yang sama. Tapi oleh kerana agama kita mungkin we face discrimination, so kita turun bawah sikit. And mungkin kerana kita wanita, our status in the community atau kesukaran untuk hidup tu pun bertambah, so kita turun. So to me that's how I see discrimination, where you are removed from the equation of being treated equally as a human being. So have you ever experienced that? So dalam chat, Mahira has, Tasha has, Farisa has, Aina of course, and Anatasha always. So like Iza, do you think you've experienced any form of discrimination before? If you're not comfortable to answer, it's okay. But basically, that's basically now we know lah. So kat sini we have how many people here? We have 13 people, and the majority of you have already faced an extent of discrimination. We haven't put ourselves in a bigger population where then we could see more people being experiencing the same thing as well. Now, my second question: have you ever been discriminated when it comes to demanding for your rights? Contohnya, because you're a lady, because you're a girl, you you pergi klinik, and then you wanna say you want to minta doktor macam, okay doctor, I wanna practice birth control lah. I wanna like practice contraception semua kan. And then the doctor says, have you asked your husband? Have you asked your family? Those kind of stuff. Like, you pernah tak go through discrimination when you nak demand for your rights? Okay, that may be like quite a far example. Tapi contohnya macam dekat sekolah. Have you ever demanded for something but because you are of certain group or certain category of human beings, you were denied?
I think instead getting discriminated by people outside, I got a lot more from my own circle and my own family.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, like, for example, I think this is pretty specific, but like, for example, I have to do the chores. So when I question why do I the only one have to do the chores? I have a brother. Why can't he do the chores? And then my family members, some of my family members would say, "Well, he's a boy. He can't be in the kitchen." So it left me like, what? Yeah, I get that a lot actually in a lot of cases, not just chores, but I get that a lot. Like, it's not directly like, oh, because you're a girl, you have to do this, but it's more of like, oh, because he's a boy, he can't do that. It's more of that, yeah.
This is interesting, Ashira, because you see the amount of reception by your peers, how they totally relate to you.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a lot of anger in the comment section. But yeah, sometimes these discriminations happen right before our noses. They're not like too far away. They're not, big stuff macam being denied abortion services ke, being denied of being able to wear what you want dekat sekolah. Dekat rumah sendiri, you face this kind of double standard and mistreatment lah by the people closest to you. Now this is interesting, which brings me to my last question. How do you okay, if you had to describe your gender, right? No, let me rephrase that. What's the common way that makes sense to you when you think about what it's like being a woman? Contohnya, oh, kalau suka pink, it's perempuan lah. As simple as that. What are the common logical explanation? Okay, contohnya, if there was a child in front of you, and then tanya, like, kakak, what makes a girl a girl? What makes a woman a woman? How will you answer that child? That child, dia belum diajar apa-apa lagi tentang gender, tentang sex, tak belajar lagi. So as an adult, what will you teach that child at that point of time? I'm interested to know. Who would like to share? Tak apa, I know this requires some thinking. This requires macam, oh shit, can I say that? Or is that like gender stereotyping?
Is it okay? Before I answer,
Okay.
does the child ask us macam like perempuan saja, or like what are women and men?
No,
Or
dia
they just
interested nak tahu
tanya?
pasal perempuan je.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I think I would literally say women, macam mana? The strongest one in the room.
Oh wow, really?
That's woman.
That's how you would describe being a woman, being a
Yeah,
girl.
it's either that, like, just a simple one kan, yang macam like the
Yeah,
one yang cross my mind right away. It's either
yeah.
that or like independent.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Because like if it's possible, I want that to be the first thing planted in the child's brain about women.
Betul?
So that's why I just want to say as simple as that.
Okay, this is really lovely because you're associating to really positive adjectives to describe, being a woman. And I think Tasha agrees with you. She also says that,
Mm.
to describe a woman is to say that women are strong. And Iza says, Bestie, you're a diamond and that's why you're a girl. Okay?
Oh.
Lepas tu dia tanya, budak tu tanya you, Iza, so if I'm a boy, I cannot be a diamond ke? Mampus. Jawab apa kat situ.
I cakap lah, boy, you hanya bye.
Okay, so Aina says what makes a woman is when you have to face inequality in every nook and cranny of life, my child. Who agrees with Aina? As negative as it is, but it's reality though, right? If you're a guy, if you're a boy, you don't necessarily face the same amount of mistreatment, neglect, discrimination as compared to a girl, as compared to a woman. So, in a way, that's also a very realistic and I rasa most accurate way to describe about being a woman. But I love how Ashura pointed out just now, like she wants to say yang to define or to describe a woman and a lady is to say that they are strong and independent because you want that to be the first thing that sticks into their heads, betul tak? Now, why is that so important to you, Ashura? Why do you feel that you need to you need to make it clear yang dari awal from the get go, women are not less than strong and independent? Why is that so close to you? Because I could sense that. Kenapa?
Because people don't see that. No, like for real, nobody see how strong and independent women are. Sure, they could say macam, oh, just because you give birth you're strong. Well, we're facing more than that. We have period cramps every month. Period cramps may seem a simple thing, but
Yeah.
the pain is unbearable. I read, I mean, okay, this is physical one. Okay, that's the physical one. The mental and emotional one, that's what we're talking about. That's
Mm.
the one yang orang tak, no one pointed out about it. Women, men knows how soft and how weak women can be, but they keep on saying stuff to us as if we have no feelings.
Betul?
So that's why I want them to always know wherever they go, however they grew up. I want these children, the next generations to always feel like they will always go back to the first few things they heard about women, which is strong, independent. So
Yeah.
I want them to always, kita semua macam tu. Kita semua macam wherever kita pergi, whatever kita belajar, kita akan sentiasa question back about the first thing yang kita tahu.
Betul?
Kan? So I want them to always feel like macam, okay, contohlah ada orang cakap kat dia orang macam, perempuan ni macam ni, macam ni, macam ni. Dia orang ni macam bukannya boleh buat kerja sangat pun. But then dia orang punya mindset akan automatic akan pergi macam, tapi dia orang ni bukan kuat dengan independent ke?
Hmm.
Even for 1 second dia orang terfikir macam tu, at least dia orang tahu benda tu ada dekat dalam dia orang punya mind. Yeah. I think that's, yeah, more of like, because I am so sad how people don't see our struggles. I mean, there's men as well here, kan? Okay. Women's punya struggle in general. So yeah.
And I think this is your way, your personal way to basically fight against, patriarchy, lah kan?
Yes.
You start by redefining indoctrinated ideas of a certain thing. You want to revamp the whole definition about being a woman, being a lady.
Yes.
Yeah. Laven, feel free to add in. Yeah, don't feel like you're outcasted just because you don't have a uterus. Okay, well, actually, I wanted to point out Najiha's answer to my question. So if she had a child in front of her who was asking her, what makes a girl, and she would say, I would just set a neutral tone from the very first start, which is that you have a uterus, perempuan tanpa rahim and trans female are evolving thoughts that she'll get through, but definitely just set a neutral tone. Now, when it comes to talking about like biology and body anatomy, is that gender? Is that being a woman, or macam, because like you said, right, even trans women who do not have these uteruses feel like they're women, feel like they identify themselves best as to being a woman. So macam, yeah, I think when it comes to like biology, that's definitely a good way to start because it's facts, it's not debatable. So you can start with macam gender is what the society defines a particular group of people, but when it comes to sex, it's the science behind determining, the reproductive system of a particular human being. Yeah, because some people do say macam, you can't define being a woman as someone who has a uterus because ramai dua perempuan tak ada uterus. So are you totally neglecting a huge group of women who don't have uteruses? So that, are you saying that they're less of a woman just because they don't have a specific organ? So that's just like another way to go about it lah. But thank you so much for sharing, everyone. The reason being why I like wanted to discuss like the discrimination and gender from a really general and contextual point of view for the beginning, because I want everyone to be on the same page. Like basically we all can agree that, with 15 people in this call, everyone, like a majority of us can agree, women are very much subjected to bad treatments by the society, and it roots from the smallest things in our lives when it comes to family relationships, friends, and then it manifests itself into like a more systemic indoctrination. It projects themselves in education, in politics, in workplaces. So it all starts from like yang benda paling kecil lah. So this has been lovely, speaking to all of you about all this. Okay, let's just comment on what Lavin has to say. So if we say strong and things like that, does that put an unfair pressure on young girls to be strong and self-embracing vulnerability? Doesn't that follow the same trend of young girls being forced to mature faster? Yeah. I wanted to ask this as well, but thank you for bringing it up. So mungkin does anyone would like to justify yourself to Lavin to say that no, I disagree with you, Lavin. What are your thoughts on this?
So I was just thinking what Lavan says really makes sense, but maybe we don't say it like women are strong, but we say like we can tolerate a lot. So what do you guys think about it? Because yeah, like what Lavan say, maybe if we say we are all young girls are strong and things like that, maybe they feel like they can't show their vulnerability. So yeah, but I feel like in terms of what I was thinking about this word strong, I feel it means like we can tolerate a lot. That's how I feel. So what do you guys think?
I think, I mean, I agree with Raven as well, and I agree with Tasha as well. But when it, well, we can also explain that being strong doesn't mean you can't be vulnerable. We can always tell them that. We can, okay, let's say the child is in front of me, like the kid is in front of me, and they just ask that question to me. Okay, and then I said what I wanted to say, which is women are strong and independent. Then I can add like, but that doesn't mean women can't be weak and vulnerable. Well, men can be weak and vulnerable as well. So does women. But that does not make anyone any less stronger than they are. because being vulnerable and weak is also, it means a lot as well. Some people scared to be vulnerable and weak because they think, oh, I'm so weak, I don't want to be weak. So it takes a lot of courage to be weak as well. So that's still strength right there. So that will, of course, that will requires a longer discussion with them. But we can never have like a very 5 minutes talk, question and answer when it comes to questions like this. So yeah. But Laven's question really kind of hit me lah. And so, oh wait, I never thought about that. But yeah, thanks.
I think just to add on to what Levin has to say, I totally agree with him, especially when he says that how we romanticize children for being mature when they're not supposed to be mature at that age.
True.
It's the nuance to the discussion lah. Kita ada banyak spektrum yang sangat berwarna-warni. So if we are willing to talk about a certain shade of color when it comes to a particular topic, we have to talk about the other color shades as well.
True.
As simple as that lah. Najiha, you wanted to share something.
No, I faham Laven cakap. I faham juga Ashura cakap. Laven, so basically Laven punya sentiment yang dia cuba bawa, which is a reality, yang dia cuba bawa adalah kalau dalam dialog dia kan macam, kalau dalam situasi tu kau kena kuat, kita perempuan, kita kena kuat. Okay, I faham. Itu kalau dia buat dalam jadi dialog, dia jadi macam tu lah. But then at the end of the day, it all comes back to how you redefine strong. So macam mana Ashura bagi balik macam betul tu. Macam mana you redefine strong kan? Macam showing that you're weak actually is a manifestation of you being strong. Sebab you have that progressive definition of being strong. Macam tu. So I faham Laven, I faham. Sebab ada juga sisi-sisi daripada Ashura cakap tu macam yang lebih memperkasakan satu aspek yang konservatif mengenai strong dalam erti kata making girls to mature faster, which is not good. Dan faham. So both ada points. Sangat I think cerita.
Thank you for that top notch commentary, Najiha. But one thing yang a concern for if we macam make people believe that women are strong and nothing else is the level that women and girls are expected to terima shit in the name of being strong. How women allow themselves to be in an abusive relationship, abusive marriage, because to them this is me being strong, this is me being there for my children. So that's where it's dangerous lah. So yeah, I think we covered that part quite well, and I'm super happy that everyone is participating. Now another aspect that I want to talk about, because since we're talking about on the gender note kan, macam okay, if a baby was born, okay, you guys are at a hospital, imagine you guys are at a hospital, if a baby was born and you have no access to see dia punya private genitalia lah, obviously, how would you identify the sex of the baby? Is there a way? Najiha, you're muted. Did you say something?
I cakap, why would I? It's not a concern lah. Macam tu.
Okay, I'll hold on to that. Why would I? Okay, saya berpegang pada jawapan itu kerana jawapan itu penting.
Okay.
Orang lain, how would you identify a baby's sex if you tak nampak dia punya like private parts? Is there a way? Jazz, did you say something, Jazz?
Setahu I, kalau dah keluar dari perut, kalau keluar daripada vagina or perut, dia dah nampak the pipi and the vagina. So
Memang nampak. Maksudnya you macam contohnya you dekat luar cermin, you nampak macam baby banyak-banyak kan. Itu maksud you tak nampak private part dia.
cakaplah dekat dalam cermin tu. You cakap
Takkan.
pada perut.
Oh, maksud I macam you ni orang luar, tiba-tiba macam babies. Okay, ni perempuan, ni jantan, ni lelaki, boleh ke? Tu soalan I.
I think
Hello, everybody. Came in late, but because I totally forgot that Friday is Miles Reading Club, I'll do better. Um, okay, I think I understand what fear is actually getting at, which also brings up this other gender patriarchy benda. I mean, rather than calling babies, like jantan betina, you know, there's also a thing about gender reveal. So I was going to say that if like Fair asked like what would you say kalau you nampak the baby and you want to determine its gender, right? Like tengok macam tu ada apa. I mean, it's a baby. It's a human being. It's a baby. To me, it'd be like, oh baby. So baby. There's no it doesn't have to be a specific gender. I mean, it's a beautiful baby. I can even I can even name it whether it has a penis or even or a vagina, or I think I'm still learning on what's that called at the term for it, apa tu, like biological, like there are people who has like two of the same two genitals
Yeah,
same time, all
intersex.
that. I'm still learning all that.
Yeah.
So I think it's more like uh, neutral and be able to unlearn and not to get used to knowing about structured gender punya thing, like, oh, it's if it has a vagina, is definitely a girl. Then it's gonna be like, if I were the if we like a parent that is trying to, kalau girl memang kena raise up as a girl, and then you have all these expectations and everything, it'll be the same for a boy. So if it's me, if I were a parent, I would just, there's a baby. You raise a child, you raise a child as I mean, you will teach the child, the wrongs and the rights, the morals and everything.
Yeah.
But most importantly is to be a human being, a principled person who has who who, let's say for me, I need to understand that when they grow up at a certain age, like maybe at 6 years old, I would say, I think actually five would be a good age, I feel is that for them to be able to discover themselves. You want to wear a dress, you're a boy, you want to wear a dress, go ahead. You're a girl, you want to find yourself, all that, just do whatever you want. Then that is my responsibility as a parent lah. So my answer is pretty much that lah, baby. But because also I personally don't think in the future I can ever really get pregnant, and maybe a bit too personal, but I am already thinking of how to say tying my tubes. So because I can tell you that giving birth is a very scary experience, so I do not want to go through that personally. But also because of my health condition, so I have to consider all those health factors as well, which is also why it's important for me to know that when you really think of bringing a child, whether it be a birth or not, you are raising a child. So I am very strongly I am very strong with the idea of adoption. So to me, when it comes to even the idea of adoption, you are raising a child. I feel that if it's a boy, girl, trans, I mean, it's really, most importantly, is to give them the kind of love that's unconditional, and for them to better understand themselves, and they need that kind of parent guidance. So and yeah, so that's my 2 cents. So
Thank you for sharing to us. Yeah, I can't agree with you more. The fact that even when in the decision making on whether a baby is a girl or a boy, it would then determine how we treat them kan as parents. So like, and as everyone here can relate to, like kita sebagai wanita dekat family, we have different kinds of treatments that we receive. As a boy dapat lain. I wanted to point out what Munira just shared. How how we wrap babies in like pink and blue blankets dekat hospital, and that's the answer lah. Because before even seeing a particular child's, you know, genitalias, you can already, you allow yourself to believe that a piece of cloth determines, you know, the gender of a baby. So even from kecil je, baby dah disumbat dengan idea you must be a girl because you're wrapped in a pink blanket now. And since you are wrapped in a pink blanket now, these are the set of rules that you need to comply with to fulfill to fully satisfy the list of being a girl lah. You know, being courteous, being beradab, sopan santun. You have to sit a certain way. So I just wanted to point this out because at such a young, like baby tu tak sampai like 12 jam, kita dah terus define for that baby yang this is how you have to be as a person. So macam that's fucked up lah to me, you know. Walhal that kanak-kanak mungkin nak be someone totally different. Dia mungkin identify herself as a girl, but what if like her way pembawakan diri tu like is not the way you want it to be. So as parents pun kita dah violate a child's rights from the very beginning. Dia hirup udara kat bumi ni, kita dah violate hak dia sebagai seorang kanak-kanak lah. Okay, so wow, it's already 9:41. I tak sempat tengok the document lagi. Okay, let's get into the document now. Now, what is this piece of document, right? So as I shared earlier, it's issued by a network of international human rights NGOs, and basically this sort of explains why it's important for us to celebrate and for us to, you know, create awareness when it comes to 28th of May. Okay, so as everyone know, kat sini COVID-19 has definitely impacted every one of us financially, our mental health, physical health, our, you know, financial stability semua. But the impact yang kita semua kena is not equal when it comes to gender. And we all have to admit that women face more adverse impacts as compared to men, especially in a pandemic like COVID-19. So I highlighted some points which I felt which was close to us. So one thing that it was stated here that the use of social control measures, contohnya macam our lockdown, is worrying not only for its imposition of homogeneity to the detriment of marginalized population, but as well for allowing ground for political opportunism and authoritarianism. So what does this mean? In times of a pandemic, in times of an emergency, those in power put a blanket on all of us, assuming that this blanket will fit everyone. Right? And in times of emergency, lagilah those people in power wouldn't want to alter, okay, this blanket kena ada lace because some people need lace. This piece of blanket kena ada, it has to be wool because a group of people perlukan wool. Obviously, they wouldn't take time to think about that because it's already like a social emergency state. And and that's what it means by imposition of homogeneity. You use a single piece of solution and you expect it to fit everyone's different sizes of shoes, which doesn't work, and which is obviously what we can see in today's situation right now. You know how they think by doing, you know, a certain social protection measure, contoh like the vaccine, they assume having an app is convenient. Tapi some people just don't have internet access. Some people can't even read. Some people don't even have family members. So those are the examples of how the people in power impose homogeneous solutions that do not cater to marginalized populations. And like it or not, women in 2021 are still considered marginalized because of the discrimination that we face since centuries ago. And I don't have to like say this any further, allowing for ground for political opportunism and the fact that there's no parliament, you know, the fact that we are in a state of emergency shows lah. Okay, but I don't want to go into that. Now, what else about, you know, why is today so important? It reminds us that the delivery of health services have been disrupted and sexual reproductive health and rights are now deprioritized because, as we can already see, many healthcare facilities are converted into COVID-19 facilities. So services like family planning, contraception, most of these concerns or most of these health services are put as secondary or even like lagi bawah dan secondary because they want to prioritize COVID-19. However, the issue of sexual reproductive health does not disappear just because a pandemic is in. People are still not able to access contraception. People still don't know about, family planning, about birth control, with or without COVID. So just because COVID is here, we're willing to remove hak-hak wanita kepada all of these sexual health and reproductive rights oleh kerana it's COVID, which is not right lah. It shouldn't be it. As a government, as people in power, you have to provide rights based on a rights approach, bukan on a needs approach. You tak boleh fikir whether this society needs this or not. If it's a right, you have to deliver. Contohnya macam, okay, Islam doesn't allow abortion misalnya unless like there are exceptional cases or exceptional reasons. But how do we implement that so that our laws are more human rights based or human rights approach is, okay, your religion may say that it's not right, but for some people, they need it. And it is their right to have access to abortion services. So as a government at that point, do you think that, a society needs it, or is it a right that you kena bagi lah? So that's just another wisdom nugget that I wanted to share with all of you. Yeah, so a lot of deprioritization of women's health. I don't know if you guys see this in Malaysia. We may not see this because memang SRHR services kat Malaysia sangat-sangatlah tak prominent. It's not like highly talked about. People don't go to clinics because because they are thinking about contraception because of the stigma. Like when we talk about family planning and contraception, bila kahwin barulah nak tanya. Walhal all of these things should be given dari awal lagi. So I think, like, for me personally, because I don't see these kind of things, it's because it's highly stigmatized. When it's highly stigmatized, you don't allow a safe space for people to communicate these concerns that they face on a daily basis. So yeah, other than that, our health and autonomy are heightened risk. So it goes beyond our physical health. Contohnya, it's highly impacting us mentally. How many mothers who work at home, they're not getting paid, but they have to do the house chores, they have to take care of the kids, they have to jaga budak ni punya online classes. So these kind of things in the long run does have an impact on someone's mental health. And this thing is not taken into account when it comes to providing social support because, biasalah, memang society dah tahu yang wanita memang kena jadi mak. And like, you cannot complain if like, kalau you jadi mak, why are you complaining that you're penat, that you need time for yourself? Itu memang kerja kau. Faham tak? So it's that, again, brainwash perception that women don't need, women are not allowed to have their own lives beyond the realms of being a mother or beyond the realms of being a wife. When you are a mother, you are a wife, your life stops there. Which is not right lah kan. And obviously when kita belum lagi talk about gender-based violence, being restricted, tak boleh keluar rumah, economic concerns as well, duit tak ada, makanan tak cukup and stuff like that. Yeah, so those are the main highlights that I wanted to point out lah. Hence why it's a very, very important day for us to talk about. So it's 9:49, but there's still time for you to get on your story and just to talk about something about today, to be in solidarity with women out there who can't speak up for themselves. So just an invitation, or like, an inviting hand to everyone. This is how you can support celebrating today. And even if you're not a woman, even if you don't identify yourself as she or he, this is how you can be an ally as well. So you can share your stories or case studies, like the things that we learned or we discussed today about how how small the discrimination can start at homes, being a daughter itself, and share your stories, and obviously tag Mao, whatever, and create videos, keep the conversation going, use the hashtags, and yeah, watch out for more information from these associations lah. So these are the things that they're basically demanding for day one: access to universal healthcare, address inequities in distribution of essential medicines and vaccines, utilize an intersectional and gender responsive approach to address the negative and lasting impact of COVID crisis on women, ensure timely access to necessary or comprehensive SRHR services, support calls for livable wages, and ensure provision of aid throughout quarantine periods. Because statistics memang dah tunjuk women are the ones who are facing financial limitations due to the fact that they're not employed, So as simple as that lah. So and many more stuff that we can all spend today to just talk about things, about the many issues that we face, that we all are presented with on our daily basis. So this isn't a reading club, this is a gender studies class. I wish there was this course in uni. It would be so bloody interesting. But yeah, because recently I attended a gender studies workshop for a month with an association called Asia Pacific Safe Abortion Network or Partnership, something like that. So we did talk a lot about like gender studies and whatnot, and I would love to have more of these discussions and conversations with all of you, because I would love to contextualize these things with like what we have in Malaysia. Because banyak benda yang berlaku di luar sana mungkin kurang relevan dan kurang relatable. Obviously, it's very not relatable to us because it doesn't happen here. But it doesn't mean gender discrimination, gender inequality does not happen here. We have our own forms of gender equality that Malaysian women face. So yeah, I hope tonight's discussion have left some thinking thoughts in all of your heads tonight. No worries, Laven. It's very I love to see all of you familiar faces and new faces as well. Yeah, so I think that's all from me. I just wanted to share about today. Nothing too heavy. And I really appreciate everyone's input and discussion. And I hope for like the subsequent and upcoming reading sessions, it can be this interactive, because we all need interaction lah. We're like human beings. We need social interaction. So use this space for an escape. If your week has been shitty, gather every Friday so that we can talk about these things together. So that is all from me. Thank you so much. Okay, Jess did say, to be honest, I always think about how hard it is to be a woman, and this kind of things are always enlightening. Yes. I think one thing about, though it is so true that we go through so much struggles just because we're born with vajayjays and uteruses and boobs, but at the same time, it's the sense of solidarity that I get every single time I talk about this. There will be one person who knows what I'm talking about, and I don't have to explain. And you guys feel me. You guys feel me on a really personal, genuine, and raw note, and that makes me happy lah. So I really love to share these
So,
places with everyone.
if it's all right for me to add, if it's okay for me to add, just for a while, I promise I will. I think there's one more thing that I do want to point out, but this is not in any way to what lah, but it also has to do a little bit with gender expectations as well. I don't know whether boys go through it, but maybe men go through it very differently. But women, recently, I feel that there is a thing where women are put to be pit against one another, which I would say also has a factor of expectations of women, because like if there's ever going to be a room for discussion, I feel one of the factors could be even also speaking from personal experience lah. I will say nearly 60% of my childhood and my life has been mostly bullied by girls, by women. But also because I noticed that it's also coming from, You know how sometimes, you know how like when you are raised by gender stereotypes, especially like, oh kenapa you pakai seksi sangat sebab you nak sebab you suka-suka sangat kan nak goda orang, nak goda laki orang ke apa. And it's very weird because I can even now remember being accused for wearing shorts, like, you know, those baggy shorts, because I like shorts back then, and I was the one that was insecure about my body. But funny enough, I was actually confronted by this girl who actually has a crush on. We're still friends actually, but we're like, but he's actually like a brother to me lah. So there was a misunderstanding over there. But anyway, he is not interested in anybody else, and we're just like kids lah. You know, like we're like, I think we were 15 back then, very very wild age. So I don't know why all of a sudden she just confronted me like after the tuition, you know, class malam tuition semua tu kan. So I was wearing my baggy pants, wearing my earphones and everything. And then suddenly she confronted me and said, aku nak tanya kau sekejap kenapa kau suka sangat pakai pendek-pendek macam ni? Tak malu ke jadi perempuan dah lah pakai pendek-pendek? And this is coming from a girl. So, and strangely enough, she's not the only one that does this. Like, she's not the only one that would go to you and would talk and would, you know, like that kind of donkey kind of feeling. And I noticed, I mean, when you're young, you don't really know, you just kind of wonder why you get bullied and this kind of things. But when you get older, you learn certain things, right? So when I had conversations with some of my friends, like even with Mao and with her and everybody else, you start to realize that these expectations also come from like mothers, especially even mothers, society, even like my mother. My mother, I would say she has started to be a little bit more subtle lah. Like she does understand that half and half. She does know that, you know, please wear a little bit more modestly because, you know, men do look, you know. That I'm just like, okay, I know where you're coming from, but you know, and I think those can contribute to the discussions to to gender studies lah. I feel that where do all these expectations also come from, and how do they stem? Where are the roots coming from? Where they stem from? Like even like having solid our
Solidarity, is that a word?
solidarity. Even that form of solidarity for like you can understand people, you can have this group of people, like even for us, like who, let's say, sexual assault victims. There are people who empathize sexual assault victims, but then there are certain group of even women that actually also contributes to the victim blaming. And how, where does it come from? Why does it become like this? Is it because I can't say that they're sheltered? I can't also say that they have not. You can't. I mean, we also cannot say that. Oh, you got to put yourself in my shoe because I damn well don't want you to experience sexual assault, so I wouldn't want you to be in my shoe for it. But you know, why does the victim blaming happen? And I think it also comes from like the gender studies, like because they say that they say that, oh, women are supposed to wear modestly, but for who and for what and for why? And then where does it come from? Because men look. Why does it, should it matter that men look? And then it comes from like, oh, because, you know, you're gonna worry your mother for doing these things and everything, like,
Family dignity and shit like that.
yeah. So I noticed like it's like when I think about gender studies, like, oh, it's very interesting. Like it's like a long ancestral kind of also like
Yep.
it's yeah lah. So I just thought adding that. Actually, I did say I wouldn't, but sorry. But yeah, just a bit of my 2 cents lah. So
Thank you.
hopefully there'll be more discussions on that lah. So.
Definitely, and I agree with you. When it comes to perpetuating patriarchal values, women are equally the bullies themselves. So it's really, when it comes to feminism, when it comes to discussions of gender equality, it's never one sex over the other or against the other. It's, you know, it's a systemic and long-rooted indoctrination of patriarchal values. Memang kita boleh extend kalau host nak teruskan, tapi host ada kelas esok and ada exam, so host pun terpaksa caw. But for other nights, insyaAllah kita boleh extend. Boleh je. It's not that we've never extended our session sampai 10:30. Pernah je lah Ben. So yeah, I'm sorry I'm not able to host it any longer. Okay, Shira, back to you.
Thank you so much, everyone. And who was it just now? Lavin. Okay. Sorry as well. Usually we stopped right away at 10 because we worried for everyone else punya schedule. But I'm pretty sure if there is another topic yang lebih kurang macam ni, since we already know how our audience, the amount of interest from our audience, then maybe we can work that out. Maybe we can tell awal-awal beforehand that this session might get extended to 10:30 or 11, I don't know. But we will definitely do this again. Yes. Okay.
Boleh, boleh.
Yeah. Okay. Nanti
I'll be
kita
more
akan
prepared as well.
nanti kita akan arrange balik dengan our host, dengan Fear. Okay. So it's 10:01 already, and thank you so much everyone for being here. And thank you, Fear, for the very interesting topic. You always came with a very, very interesting topic for everyone, not just for one or two person. So I thank you so much. Okay, and don't forget, everyone, our reading club is every Friday at 9 p.m. And if no one wants to add anything anymore, I think that's it for tonight. So thank you, everyone. You
Thank
Millie,
you, everyone. Have a good
Millie.
rest. Have a good weekend. Stay
Yeah.
safe. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
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 Thank you.